So I know I promised a 200 subscriber special when we actually hit 200 subscribers, and now we're past that, and I have no idea where we are with subscriber count. Things have been so hectic lately, and I do apologize. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick rundown of what the 200 subscriber special was supposed to be. My 200 subscriber special, for those who've seen the little hints that I've dropped and the things I've posted on Instagram, and I think I blatantly said it in a video this past few months, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I don't like this movie. Now, before I get jumped on, because I know some people who do like this movie, and I know some people who absolutely love this movie, I do not like it. There are plenty of things about this movie I don't like. There are some things I do like. And me being the perfectionist I am, there are some things I'd like to erase and remake this whole film myself if I honestly could, but I can't. This was Britt Allcroft's passion project, and it could have been better. For Thomas's first on-screen film appearance in the actual theaters, we could have gotten so much better. And the next movie that came out about 5 years later did not, it wasn't much better. Anyways, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Some of the things I don't like about this movie is mainly the magic element, the implications that the engines of Sodor and Sodor itself only exist because of magic, and this whole Magic Railroad scenario with the magical engine who controls the gold dust and how you can only travel to the island through blowing gold dust out a whistle that honestly reminds me of smoking or vaping. I don't really vibe with it all that much. And Diesel 10, who came up with that? Who thought it was a good idea to put a mechanized claw on a Class 42 British warship? Not the best design aesthetic. Also, I don't really understand Gordon's whole, panic meltdown here. Diesel 10's back. Oh. When was Diesel 10 on the island beforehand? Remind me or correct me if I'm wrong, but we had like 5 or 6 seasons of the show, or at least 4, before Magic Railroad came out. And there was never a mention or showing or any sort of reference to Diesel 10, or Splatter Dodge, or the Magic Railroad, or Lady, or Vanette Stone, or Mr. Conductor, or Junior. Where did this come from? All in all, I like this movie. I liked it more when I was a dumb child, but now I don't really care for the movie. It's a nostalgic rewatch because I remember how much I did love it and how excited I was to get the Wooden Railway Diesel 10 from Books A Million when I was in like the 3rd grade. But overall, I don't really care for this film. There are films that I hate more, like Misty Island and Big World Big Adventures, but Magic Railroad is low on my list, and it's probably never going to breach my top 5. Those are films that are actually pretty good and make sense to the storyline. So overall, Magic Railroad is, I wouldn't call it a complete failure, but I wouldn't call it a total success either. There are still plenty of things I like about the film. Yeah, I like, what do I like about the film? Honestly, probably the only thing I like about this film is the big chase scene at the end when Diesel 10 chases Thomas and Lady, and Splatter and Dodge basically have a mutiny where they're like, no, we're not going to help you. Other than that, there's not a lot I like about the film. The whole Shining Time Station shoehorn was kind of strange. I did like the opening introduction to Shining Time Station with the music and the shots of Rainbow Sun and all those characters. That was nice. I've never seen Shining Time Station, so I don't really know what to think or make of it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it being part of this movie. And I don't really feel any sort of affinity or dislike of the characters, like Lily, Burnett, Billy Two Feathers is his name, Junior, Mr. Conductor. I don't even remember the name of the lady who found Lily at Shining Time Station and brought her back to Burnett. Tasha, I think that was her name. I might be wrong. Don't really care much for those, and I don't really care much for most of the scenes that happen off Sodor in the real world. I'm not a big fan of that. I do like going to Muffle Mountain and seeing Burnett in his workshop with Lady, and I do like, all the sequences with Rainbow Sun in the introduction to Shining Time Station. And that short introduction with that instrumental of How the Moon Must Feel in the Field, that was pretty nice. And I do like How the Moon Must Feel. Most people shit on that song, but that song is actually pretty good. And Shining Time, the song, again, brilliant. I love that song. But other than that, I don't like any of the stuff that happens in the real world. And I don't particularly like most of the things that go on Sodor. I like that Toby follows Diesel 10 and traps him, Splatter, and Dodge at the scrap yard. Even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I do like when Diesel 10 first comes through, because I like seeing Gordon, who's usually so high and mighty, you know, shaking and cowering like a child. If it were done in better taste, I could say the scene of Diesel 10 basically trying to murder Mr. Conductor on the viaduct would be a contender. The scene that I try not to think about because it gives me a headache is the scene when Percy has to guard the magic buffers. I don't understand what's up with that talking fucking tumbleweed and why it sounds like Splatter and Dodge went to Dallas. Don't really understand that. And a whole lot of other things. I do really like the scene when Diesel 10 comes into the smelter's yard and practically almost kills James, because it's one of the few times when Diesel 10 looks and acts like an actual villain. And it's terrifying. It gave me nightmares as a child, so good job. And in general, just some other scenes in the movie that are hit or miss. I really didn't like the whole Mr. Conductor at the windmill because of the fucking, you know, calling flowers. Like, this is fucking Cinderella, or what was that movie with the singing animals? Snow White. The scene with the engines talking about how if Diesel finds a lost engine, they'll all be destroyed. Who was it that was smiling in that scene? Was it Toby? Why are they smiling? This is supposed to be sad. Also, the hell is up with Edward not being in this movie? Like, come on. Edward's like one of the best. He's one of the originals. Literally the original in the books. How are you not going to include Edward? It's kind of shitty. And just in general, this movie was like hit or miss with me. So there are things I liked, things I didn't like, things I wish I could change if I could. And honestly, if I really wanted to and had the resources and the time and the money and the patience, I would go back and redo this entire thing in my own way. And, you know, take out everything to do with Shining Time Station, take out the Magic Railroad, or at least find a way to include that and, you know, just rewrite the whole thing, give it a complete makeover. But as fate would have it, I don't have the time, the resources, the money, or the patience to deal with it. So that was my rundown review on Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And I'm sure this could have been a more in-depth review, but I'm not Unlucky Tug. I don't have the time to do things like that. I've got a show to run. Work never stops on Adventures on the Rails. I hope you like this, whatever kind of review you want to call this. I'm sorry I got this out real late. I really wanted to get this out on time, but there was a lot of crap going on around that time, and there's still a lot of crap going on. I will do better. I really will. I apologize, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and please remember to like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Adventures on the Rails, yada 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 yada. Join Adventures on the Rails. We need more actors and actresses. All right.